Hello dear listeners and welcome to today's TSF1 podcast for the Qatar Grand Prix. First of all, I would like to welcome my co-hosts Panos and Dimitris. Hello guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, one was more excited than the other. The Merc guy, Dimitris, of course, not really excited, but he's here for us to make fun with him. So, Panos, this weekend we had sprint shootout, sprint quali, free practice, like a sprint race and a normal race, so you have quite the things to say, so how about you get started?
Okay, so we have free practice 1, Max Verstappen on first place, Carlos Sainz in second, Charles Leclerc in third. Moving on, qualifying for the Sunday race. Out of Q2, in Q1 we have in 16th Logan Sargent, 17th Lance Stroll, 18th Liam Lawson, 19th Magnussen and 20th Zhou Yu. Moving on to Q2, out of Q3 we have in 11th place Yuki Tsunoda, 12th Carlos Sainz, 13th Sergio Perez, whose lap got deleted for track limits, 14th Alexander Albon and 15th Nico Hülkenberg. Our poleman for the Qatar Grand Prix is Max Verstappen once again. Second George Russell, third Sir Goat Lewis Hamilton, fourth Fernando Alonso, fifth Charles Leclerc, sixth Oscar Piastri, seventh Pierre Gasly, 8th Esteban Ocon, 9th Valtteri Bottas and 10th Lando Norris, who did not even start a lap in Q3. Moving on to sprint shootout, SQ1. Out of SQ2 we have in 16th Lance Stroll, 17th Alex Albon, 18th Yuki Tsunoda, 19th Kevin Magnussen and Logan Sargent in 20th. Moving on to SQ2, out of SQ3, in 11th we have Pierre Gasly, Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, Liam Lawson, and in 15th Zhou Yu. Poleman for the sprint shootout we have Oscar Piastri, second Lando Norris and third Max Verstappen. George Russell in fourth, fifth Carlos Sainz, sixth Charles Leclerc, seventh Nico Hülkenberg, eighth Sergio Perez, ninth Fernando Alonso and 10th Esteban Ocon. Moving on to the sprint race. 19 laps. We had Max Verstappen having a bit of a struggle in the start. The mediums showing pace better than the softs. And Sergio Perez,
In your own words.
yes, he crashed and gave Max Verstappen the title from Saturday. So Max Verstappen is a 3-time world champion, apparently, from the Saturday. And on the other hand, we have Oscar Piastri winning a sprint race,
Which is great.
and Lando Norris in third. That was everything about the sprint race.
Okay. So, I think we can move on actually to the normal race. So, the actual race, the Sunday race, we might say. Can I?
Of course.
Okay, great. So, let's dive into the first 10 laps. Before the race even started, there was drama with Sainz's Ferrari, because why not? He wasn't on the grid due to a fuel issue. That's Italian. Team boss Vasser mentioned an issue with the fuel system just an hour before the race, so we didn't have actually the second Ferrari participating, and it was only our dear Charles out on the track.
And that wasn't the only pre-race drama. Sergio Perez had a power unit change, which meant he started from the pit lane. Interestingly, he was the only car starting on white brand Pirelli hards.
The top 10, however, had all medium tires except from Hamilton and Bottas, who opted out for the soft. But by turn 1, both Mercedes collided. Hamilton ended up in the sand while Russell had to pit for repairs. This led to a safety car deployment.
Moment of silence for Hamilton not being able to accept that maybe, just saying maybe, his teammate takes the place. Maybe it has to do because he's been used to all those years that teammate is a pedestal for him to win. Maybe that's why he must have expected that Russell would break and let him in, right? Too bad I didn't come up with that joke on the Greek version of the podcast. Anyway, I think like the majority agreed, and actually as did I think at the end of the day Hamilton himself say whether he wanted to accept it or not. It was his fault because clearly, there was no space for him. So the restart order was Verstappen, Piastri and Alonso on the top three, and the safety car was in by the 5th lap, so we had the restart, and Russell, despite being down to 13th place, at this point was making his moves.
By lap 10, the order remained mostly the same, but Russell was making his presence felt, storming through the field after his earlier incident. Meanwhile, Verstappen was pulling away at the front, as always.
Moving on to laps 11, from 11 to 20, Verstappen continued to dominate. Surprise. There were early pit stops for some, including Alonso on lap 12. Perez managed to break into the top 10 as the pit stops began.
That was like the usual Perez comeback. So by lap 20, after all the top 10 had already pitted, the order at the front was Verstappen, Piastri and Alonso. The whole of the top 10 was on medium tires at this point, and in the meantime Bottas and Stroll benefited from the earlier pit stops under the safety car.
They undercutted. So around lap 25, things seemed to stabilize under the floodlights. Norris set the fastest lap, and Perez, despite starting from the pit lane, had climbed to 4th but got a 5-second penalty for track limits once again.
That's so Perez.
By lap 30, Verstappen was leading. Surprise again. Alonso had a minor, off-road excursion on lap 33, and Verstappen pitted, emerging ahead of the McLarens of Piastri and Norris.
Yes, someone should tell him over the radio. It's not a DBX, Fernando. Go back on the asphalt. So, moving to laps 31 to 40, by the end of the 40th lap, we had Verstappen, Piastri and Norris in the top three, and Perez's evening got even more challenging, as Panos mentioned above, with another 5-second penalty for track limits. Of course, what else?
Also, we had Sargent who retired his Williams. The top 10 seemed to be in high-speed stalemate. Norris was slowly catching Piastri, and by lap 44, Piastri made his final pit stop.
So Norris pitted soon after and had to slot in behind Piastri. McLaren's pit crew did a fantastic job for both drivers, and Verstappen was in a league of his own, leading by 22 seconds.
Can we mention at this point that McLaren actually broke the world record for the fastest pit stop? It was just 1.8 seconds flat, and I think the previous one was held by Red Bull. Ferrari.
Red Bull, sorry.
Yes, it gives you wings. Ferrari under 2 seconds, come on.
Yes, we had Ferrari under 2 seconds.
Once upon a time, long time ago. So, in the final laps, 41 through 50, Gasly and Albon both received their penalties for track limits. Norris was catching Piastri but was told to hold position. By lap 50, the order was for the top 10th, Verstappen, Russell and Piastri at front, followed by Norris, Leclerc, Zhou, Alonso, Ocon, Bottas and Stroll.
So Russell had to pit again on lap 51, and there was a fierce battle for P9. Russell's choice of soft seemed to be a mistake as he struggled to maintain his position.
Only Mercedes would manage to put on a freaking soft tire and be slower,
And as the race concluded, Verstappen took a dominant win with Piastri in second and Norris close behind in third. Truly, these three were the standout performance in Qatar.
So, I think, summing up this race, we have the following. Hamilton, retire, go away, you're annoying. Verstappen, well done, third World Championship, but with the performance this year and literally the zero effort. I mean, not in a bad way, but in a battle way, it took him to win it. Nobody cares. So, highlight of the weekend, McLaren did an amazing 2-3 both on the sprint race and the normal Sunday race. Anything else you would like to ask? Or add?
No.
May I better say?
Nothing.
Dimitris is so excited that he is literally speechless. He was left speechless.
What can I say about Hamilton again?
Yeah, I mean, even for a McLaren, for a Mercedes fanboy, it's getting annoying. I think it genuinely gets annoying. So
I'm gonna be a McLaren fan.
I mean, truly, I think I will also just leave it with Ferrari because, I mean, it's pointless. It's like your first love. It always follows you as you proceed in life, but, I mean, you gotta move on. Like, come on. Honestly, just deal with it. Accept it. It's a thing of the past and move on.
Okay.
So, 2 weeks from now we have the American Grand Prix, the US Grand Prix, like the real deal, you know, the circuit of the Americas deal of the US Grand Prix, not the Miami joke. And so we look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks, and I think that's pretty much it from us tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they have so much to say, they literally don't know where to start. So, I will help them by finishing it. Thank you very much for being with us today, and we look forward to seeing you on our next podcast. Have a good one. Bye.